Good morning, good afternoon, TCG players. We have a new Forbidden and Limited list in the OCG. It is supposed to come into effect tomorrow, I believe, when our ban list actually becomes effective. But in the OCG, they have predetermined dates, or it's actually says it right here. It's going into effect in October 1st, which is just in a few days from now. Also, just a quick little heads up before we begin. The King of Beasts one-player playmat is now available on Imperium Duelist. This is my new playmat, the second one after the beautiful branded one that was limited edition and was really sought after. It's now it's gone forever. So get this if you are a Chimera enjoyer. Just a beautiful playmat, art by Midnight Dreams, who did the last playmat. And of course, you get 10% off this playmat immediately with code GALZO10. So head over to the link in the description below. Let's get on with the list. New list, pretty incredible. Bear with me, all right? Forbidden cards. The first two are Kelbeck and Agido. So as a preface to all of this, you guys have to understand, if you don't know what's happening in the OCG right now, in the Asian card game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, Tearlaments is still absolutely a deck, even though it has been hit to oblivion. And that's because a lot of things, specifically like Chaos Ruler and things like the Diabellstar engine, have still allowed the deck to function. And simply because of that, the two most powerful cards in Tearlaments are now forbidden from play. Here in the TCG, we have them at 1, and in the OCG, they are currently in 0. And two other forbidden cards, Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon, and Rongo Mini at number 86. So, Rongo makes sense. This card is unbelievably strong in terms of today's metagame. You can spam out so many monsters and make this card pretty consistently, even with things like Tearlaments, but other engines as well. But Chaos Ruler, this is the main topic I want to talk about, because Chaos Ruler is forbidden in the TCG a few formats now. It has been forbidden since mid-tier format, I think. And now, the only and main reason the Tearlaments was so good was that Chaos Ruler was legal, allowing you to mill 5, grab stuff out of the graveyard. It was pretty insane. Things like Shinobi Necro, things like a lot of graveyard-reliant effects. You can just get into the graveyard, and combined with the millers, you can mill a lot in Tearlaments and still remain consistent, even though every single card is limited, including Rhino and the Field Spell, which we don't have limited. The other important thing that you need to know about Chaos Ruler being banned is the Diabellstar engine. If you're not aware of the Diabellstar engine, it is a level 7 spellcaster monster that can search a card that gets you a level 1 fire from the deck. So Diabellstar essentially summons itself by sending a card to the graveyard, searches for the card that special summons, I believe, a level 1 fire monster from the deck, which is Jet Synchron, and it makes this. It's a 1-card engine to make Chaos Ruler to mill 5. So now with Millers gone, Chaos Ruler gone, it's going to be really, really hard for Tier. And it's not the only hits, but we're going to have to see if Tier is finally dead. I think the main reason Chaos Ruler got banned at this point in time is, of course, to weaken Tearlaments, but especially because of the Diabellstar engine that just allows you to make this card. I don't think anybody has any reservations about Chaos Ruler being the most powerful level 8 Synchro monster in the game, especially in Constellation in relation to Tearlaments. It's just extremely powerful. And I think it is a deserved hit that I called. I called this one. I was like, they have to eliminate this, otherwise Tearlaments can keep on living. And also, Diabellstar just gets way, way powerful with this card legal. Those were the forbidden cards, and we have two newly limited cards. Block Dragon was part of the Adamancipator Super Heavy pile. It was a 3. Last forbidden and limited list, it actually went to 2, and now it's going to 1. Here in the TCG, this card is forbidden, and I think it makes sense. I mean, this card should probably be banned. It's so good, especially when you have like the Super Heavy engine in the OCG pretty much running. The Link one is still legal, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is. And the only hits that they got was Motorbike to 1, to 2, and I think that was it, or like the FTK enablers. So, Block Dragon, forbidden. And then Tearlaments Kashtira, which is a very, very good card in Tier, another mill engine. which allows you to mill 3 from the field or 2 when it hits the graveyard. It's a level 7. It allows you to go to rank 7 plays, even though Fenrir is banned. And, you know, Tearlaments is like playing like one unicorn because that's all there's legal. And like Birth, to summon this card, just any way to play. Now, this card becomes another Tearlaments card, another Tearlaments monster that is limited. Again, I think it makes sense. We have 4 cards already. We're like 6 cards in. 4 cards are Tearlaments specific cards. And Tearlaments Kashira is now at 1. I don't think they have to do them that dirty. Like the deck is, I mean, if you don't have these, how are you even in like Chaos Ruler? How do you even play? Newly semi-limited, Delicious Memory. Kind of a soft hit, to be honest. We had it go to 1 instantaneously in the TCG. This card is also currently the only hit in the TCG for Pearly, but on the OCG side, I believe Sleepy Memory, the card that allows you to draw during the standby phase of your opponent's turn, is already limited. And now Delicious joins that. And Delicious, what's so good about it is that, 1, it allows you to go into Eperly Plump, which is an instantaneous, the unaffected Noir, right? Because it goes into that, already has 2 materials. You grab another 2 materials with the effect of Plump because it has Delicious. So you attach 2 from the graveyard, and then with the field spell, you just add 1, and like you can rank up from there. But the other reason is that this card increases the monster's attack and defense by 300 for each material, and it stacks. So if you have more than 1, it doubles that. So the Noir just becomes really, really big and like unoutable by any means. I would say that this is a pretty soft hit. They still want to keep the deck alive, and I think it will still remain alive. It's just 1 more card, even though it's like one of the best. Then we have this is Airlifter, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Rescue Ace it is Airlifter, I think. If it is Airlifter, I believe this card is the Searcher. I don't feel like it's a hit. The deck is good, but like Airlifter to 2 when you have cards like Emergency at 3, not doing too much. The deck has become much more powerful with the Bellstar because, again, it gets you to a level 1 fire, which is Hydrant, which is the engine of this deck, literally and figuratively. So Airlifter to 2. Then Rivalry of Warlords, a card that is super, super disliked here in the TCG. It was a 3, I believe. I believe it was a 3, and now it is at 2. Pretty sure. It's a weird hit. Not really sure which decks are playing it right now, but yeah, I mean, all power to them. And then we have Orcus Mech Knight Girsu. We have Darkworm, which is interesting now with all the Supreme King. Let me know in the comments below if this card was limited or was it at 3. I think Orcus Girsu was at 1, which is just freeing up some power for Orcus, which, by the way, Horror is free completely. Draconic Diagram makes sense with all the pendulum stuff. And then Flunder in the Magnificent Map. This card was at 1 for a long, long time. And they already had different hits with Bury a Statue of the Stormwind getting hit on the last one or the one before. This needs to happen in the TCG like stat. Straight to 1. This deck is still alive and kicking. But they're freeing up some space. They're letting them breathe a little bit right here. So yeah, this was Rescue Ace was a 3. Now it's limited 3, 3, and then all of these were at 1. So yeah, all of these, yeah, probably Darkworm as well. All of these were. This is why they kind of broke off here. So going from 3 to 2, and then going from 1 to 2, which is interesting. And then Armageddon Knight, I think it was a 2. It's a 3. I think this card could definitely be in at 3 in the TCG. Motorbike was semi-limited previously. Now they kind of switched it up with Block Dragon for super heavies. Meow Moo, they were all semi-limited here. So Light Stage, Meow Moo, Motorbike, and Armageddon Knight. And this is a Forbidden and Limited list. This gives you a little bit of a hint towards Rescue Ace and Pearly in the future. I believe Delicious already being hit here. I think they're going to do the exact same as they did in the OCG. And Sleepy, like when the deck gets hit, Sleepy is probably one of the cards that will get hit. I don't know if Rescue Ace is strong enough. In Tearlaments, here Tearlaments is, without Chaos Ruler, it's kind of like it's at a worse state in the OCG right now with these hits. It's worse now than I think in the TCGs. It's kind of on the comeback. Tearlaments now with the Rise Art gone, we do have some room to breathe. We have 3 Field Spell, we have 3 Kashtir, we have 3 Rhino. The deck is solid, and we have these, thank God. But yeah, really killer list in Japan today. Really, really interesting. This will go in effect on October 1st. As it says here, we'll be very interested to see what happens. Usually on our live streams, we do those coverages of OCG to get a look ahead in the future. And so, join us Wednesdays on our live streams to see what actually happens next week when this goes into effect. Let's see who are the top contenders. I think Rescue Ace are still good. I think Pearly are still good. And we'll have to see a little bit more. Maybe Centurion can do a little bit more damage. Like the video, subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.